TikTok right now. Shout out TikTok, what's happening, y'all? You must make sure that you share the live with everyone else and rush to YouTube so that you can subscribe to the channel. Guys, this is where we are right now. Good evening, everyone, and happy weekend. Okay, you've seen the title, right? Guns are out. As ZANU PF said, no way, you can't take the space for Mnangagwa, the president. They are protecting him to the core. Some say, shout out everyone, come through, let's have a conversation. Very important tonight. It's a beautiful weekend. What's happening? Okay, so before we proceed to the nitty-gritties again, you also saw that Chamisa said, you know what? You guys need to introspect. Each and every Zimbabwean needs to take responsibility and work on becoming a better citizen. That on its own will revolutionize our society. I'm just going to send some shout out to Prince. Good to see him. Also, there's Willard right here. Kademe right on TikTok. We have Kasim Kasi. Got a number of people, but I'm actually cultural to keep up with the names. What's happening, Charles? Good to see you, man. It's a happy weekend and welcome to Rumi Uncensored. It's a night show that we have right now. And come through, guys. We need to have a conversation. Hey, everyone, I can tell you it's boiling in the ZANU PF camps because of the succession battle. This is what we're going to be zoning in. I do remember immediately after elections, you know what happened? We were like head on with the Triple C, getting to see all the drama that was going on. But all of a sudden, you know what? Things have changed. Now we are zoning into ZANU PF. Succession battle has started. Oh my God, it's getting wild. Literally wild by then. Wild. And honestly, I think they're up for Mutsvangwa because Mutsvangwa, for me, I feel like Mutsvangwa is stronger than Chiwenga, in my opinion. Of course, I know some people will say Chiwenga is, but honestly, after the entire Ministry of Health and also looking at the situation of Mary, that's a tricky one. That's a very tricky one. You know what I mean? A tricky one. But anywho, to the Christian society like I am, who upset because of what they saw at the opening of the Olympics in Paris. You saw those scenes? People said that they were literally mimic or they were trying to mock Jesus Christ, the Last Supper. As for me, being a follower of him, I don't really care. I know his personality. He's a spiritual being. He's not all these images, All I can advise to people is that you better have to teach Jesus if you're Christian in your homes. Start at home. Forget about all the shenanigans that's going on in the streets. Real church is at home. You know what? You want to change the world? Go back home and love your family. So thank you guys for coming through once again. And TikTok, I love you and bless you. Make sure that you like the live as we move along because we are going to be digging into ZANU PF succession battle. Now, Chamisa, today, he sent out a message on X, I'm sure Facebook as well, Instagram, because all his accounts are linked. He said the path of change. People are asking God to change the nation, and we are desperate for change. But for real change to happen, God does not use that holistic approach. He is working in individuals because individuals should be changed and transformed first. This is the sequence of true and real change. Without the changed hearts, there is no change. Change only comes through the radical changed and different. It's about the heart of leaders. Leadership is a matter of quality of the heart. Alignment and obedience determine the speed, process, progress, and success in the fulfillment of change promise. And also Chamisa, Romans 12:2-3, Proverbs 4:23 is all about the wisdom. I always say wisdom is profitable to direct. Jeremiah 17:9, and it said, happy is Sabbath. So it's simply saying, guys, if you truly want change, then you better have to work on yourself. Introspect first, right? Because change may come. As long as you're not aligned, it may mean absolutely nothing. Now I'm gonna ask you guys, TikTok is already boiling with the likes. TikTok is very good at that. And on YouTube, please like the live. We need to push algorithm. Every Zimbabwean needs to get involved as far as this issue of ZANU PF is concerned. We are not prepared to carry on with the toxicity within the camps of this political party. We want to do away with their systems for good. Whatever it takes, we're going to be free. And now, Prof. Mukwananzi had a presser today, again addressing the arrest of the 78, and also really talking about the issue of protests, which I want us to really take a listen to. Very important. We need to move along with everyone, make sure that no one is going to be left behind. It's a Game of Thrones, and while ZANU PF fights within the ranks, we as a Zimbabwean people, we need to start preparing. What is it that we want for the country? Some people are saying we need to work on our constitution. There's so many things that need to be changed that ZANU PF adopted in 1980. So you and I, if we truly want a better Zimbabwe, it's going to require your commitment and my commitment. Now we're going to be listening to Promise Mukwananzi and an incredible presser during the day. That is, I want us to zone in, listen to what they're saying. Again, you know him on record that he's to align himself with Nelson Chamisa. I don't know how true that is, because Nelson Chamisa, you know, he sent out his resignation letter, but Promise said, no, we're still together. So we're going to be listening to Mr. Mukwananzi. You know, he said quite a lot of things, a very strong message to Emerson Mnangagwa and the regime of ZANU PF to say, we are done, we are tired. Please take a listen.
Members of the press to this press conference. My name is Promise Mukwananzi. I'm the national spokesperson for the Citizens Coalition for Change. Zimbabwe faces a deepening political crisis characterized by narrowing democratic space, arrests, political persecution, and weaponization of the law. At the center of the crisis is the tragic failure of leadership and institutional and political illegitimacy, corruption, and moral decadence. In the advent of the SADC visit, it is our fervent hope that SADC will live up to its SIOM report and help Zimbabwe resolve its electoral dispute in order to forestall the legitimacy challenges that continue to hinder political progress and economic transformation in our country, which has adversely affected the region. As we mark 40 days since Senator Timber and 78 others have been arrested and detained without bail, it is imperative to restate the unjustified circumstances of their arrest and brutalization. Honorable Timber and others were arrested on the 16th of June 2024, a day recognized worldwide as the Day of the African Child, and which our movement is historically and traditionally commemorated. Furthermore, they were conducting a private commemoration at a private space at Honorable Timber's residence, to be specific. They were not in breach of any law, nor a threat to peace and public order. Yet the police brutally pounced on them, assaulting them with baton sticks and tear gas, before arresting and denying them bail. The excessive use of force in this case highlights the regime's unnecessary fears, insecurities, and paranoia, and this is unacceptable in what is meant to be an independent and democratic Zimbabwe. Since their inhumane and degrading treatment, Senator Timber and others were arrested and remain in political detention, denied their right to bail and living in squalid conditions. Several members of the detained sustained varied degrees of injuries emanating from police beatings and brutality. For example, Tambudzai Makoko sustained a fractured leg which has gone septical and continues to pour out pus with a possibility of being amputated.
Wow.
The 3 others were beaten and their eardrums burst, and no medical care has been given. save for administration of basic painkillers, which is a far cry from the severe medical attention they require. Maureen Dina is detained with their 1.5 years old baby, exposed to unhygienic prison conditions. As if this is not enough, Maureen lost her other child and was denied the right to go and bury him. Ironically reminiscent of the Ian Smith regime that denied Robert Mugabe and many others to go and bury their loved ones. Nicole Chabata, a Form 4 student and O-level candidate, has continually been denied bail to allow her to pursue her studies and prepare for examinations. Another inmate who already has a disability was brutally assaulted and dislocated his leg, and there's a possibility of double disability owing to state brutality.
Sure.
In response, the party has continued to organize and coordinate support and solidarity to the affected through court solidarity, daily upkeep of the detained, medical and legal support, counseling, prison visits, and sustained political pressure for their release, and that this case remains on the local and international agenda.
I don't even know where they were doing this pressure, because there's quite a number of planes that are just making noise there. Wow.
Citizens, you are reminded that their trial commences on the 29th of July 2024. You are employed and called upon to turn out in your numbers to offer solidarity and support, to send a message to the government that the weaponization of the law to punish and silence legitimate opposition leaders and human rights activists should not and will not be part of our political culture. In short, it is a call for local, regional, and international solidarity to voice out our concerns against the use of the law and the justice system for political persecution of opponents. Significantly, it is worth noting that this arrest of Senator Timber and others is not the only case of political arrest and persecution since the August 2023 disputed harmonized elections. A few days ago, more than 60 activists of the Zimbabwe National Students Union were brutally and violently arrested, including their national president, Emmanuel Sitima. The statistics below highlight the escalating and disturbing trend of political persecution, including 3 rape cases in Mzarabani, displacements, evictions of villagers by chiefs, and many others. Presently, the top leadership of the alternative is under attack and under siege, either in detention, in hiding, or from one form or another of threats. Many are under threats of arrest and abduction and torture for merely being members of the opposition and the alternative. Several leaders have reported receiving anonymous calls threatening them. Church leaders who participated in the petition in Zambia have already been threatened and they fled their homes. Corruption. The government of Zimbabwe has been the chief perpetrator of corruption, rent-seeking, and plunder of state resources, awarding lucrative contracts to themselves, their kith and kin, and their cronies and proxies. This is the root cause of the continued failure and regression of the economy, pushing millions of our citizens into abject poverty and starvation. The partisan distribution of national resources extends to food distribution, which has been highly politicized and weaponized against those perceived to hold opposing views. A prominent example is the late Mboneni Ncube family, we have repeatedly been denied food. Mboneni was brutally murdered by suspected ZANU PF activists at an opposition campaign rally in Chiwenga. Several high-profile corruption cases have been reported and exposed, but no arrests have been made. Mr. Wikina Shivayo, who has been named in several high-profile scandals, remains not only scot-free, but boastful that nothing will happen to him. We continue to vehemently denounce corruption and call on members of the public to report, expose, and denounce corruption whenever and wherever it raises its ugly head. Political and institutional illegitimacy. It is common cause that the 23rd August 23 harmonized elections were fraudulently flawed and did not produce a legitimate and outright win. This is acknowledged by all observer missions, including SADC. This means that the government currently in place in Zimbabwe is illegitimate and not properly constituted in terms of the laws of the country. It is a de facto government. This is further exacerbated by the unlawful recall of our parliamentary and local government representatives elected on the same disputed election. This has delegitimized the current parliament. We insist on the reinstatement of the unlawfully recalled elected members and the removal of imposters who were imposed by Chabang and others in connivance with ZANU PF. The weaponization and capture of the judiciary and the disputed presidents of Mr. Mnangagwa means that Zimbabwe now suffers political and institutional illegitimacy. The three key institutions of the state, namely the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, have not only been bastardized, they have also been totally delegitimized. In that regard, it is our considered view that the coming of SADC into Zimbabwe is a welcome and rare opportunity to help foster a political solution to Zimbabwe's challenges and restore legitimacy and avert the deteriorating political situation. The issue of the disputed elections ought to be foremost on the SADC agenda, with a view to facilitate dialogue and ultimately a political settlement between the two contending presidential candidates, namely Advocate Nelson Chamisa and Mr. Mnangagwa. In our view, there is no alternative to dialogue. There is no alternative to a political settlement. We demand the immediate and unconditional release of Honorable Timber and others, and many others who are in detention, who are before the courts, who are being persecuted.
All right, so one thing that I want to say is that you heard what Chamisa said from the beginning, that the problem that we have in Zimbabwe is self-introspection. We're having a country and a people who don't even know the difference between right and wrong. I mean, when you look at the actions, notwithstanding that people blame it on President Mnangagwa, these are grown-up people who can make decisions. This is why I've always been saying, if the police do not know their place, if the army don't know their place, if the people in prison do not know their place, we're still going to be having problems. We can have another leader. Do you understand? But if there's no social reform, we're still going to be having challenges. So it's really imperative that we speak truth to power. We need to change as a Zimbabwean people. It's the way we behave, the way we act, the way we lack understanding to differentiate between a person and their duties. You see, saying that Mnangagwa, President Mnangagwa has failed to do the work, it doesn't mean that he's a bad person. He's not being hurted as a person. People are simply saying, you have failed to execute your duty as a president of a nation. You see, we need to learn how to separate the two. But I guess it's the culture that is embedded within our societies of lying. A culture that just bootlick people, notwithstanding their actions. I know you and you're my friend. You know what I'm saying? Someone was kind of rebuking me and saying, when I talk about Chamisa, I'm like, you don't really understand. If Chamisa had a level playing field, I would criticize him any day, any minute. But when I consider what happened last year, it's difficult for me to criticize him. Where do I start? Where do I start when a man was not even given a free and a fair election? Then I can just wake up and say Chamisa was wrong. Yo, you saw what happened to Shalango. Picked up a street kid, a man on the street, and turned up to make him a senator. Is that Chamisa's fault? Or that can show you how gullible, foolishness the people that are in ZANU PF are. If they can be literally being told by an old man who said, what were you thinking you guys are doing? Picking up a man on the street and then overthrow those that were voted by the people, out of parliament. What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? It's the social problem that we have in the country. People who do not want to do the right thing. Is they would rather be stuck with a lie than to turn and say, hey, for the sake of the majority or for the sake of this nation, we are going to do right. I've always been saying the people that have sacrificed a lot are the diasporians. And those that are in Zimbabwe don't get that point. People who sacrifice a lot are those that are in the diaspora. People have given up their families. Some people can't even go out for dinner because they have to send money home. I've seen people living like really low conditions, the most humbled spaces so that they're able to send money home. People that are in Zimbabwe need to also really reciprocate by standing firm on the right thing. It's the right thing or nothing. But unfortunately, they keep on bootlicking the very same people who are keeping them at ransom. I rebuked Mudiwa on X today because he saw the people for the national team that went to the Olympics in Paris. And then he said, next time when you go for competition, I need to sponsor your shoes. And he's saying it on X. I said, why are you telling us? And then he said, yeah, but you know what? Are you not the street police? I'm like, no. Any person who aligns himself with ZANU PF cannot come to us and tell us that I'm giving. Because you are looting from us, and in return, you act like you love us. But no, you simply give us trinkets. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, if you are taking what belongs to the poor and the people of Zimbabwe, you can't turn around and say to me, I want to give. What are you giving? Return what you have stolen. Any businessman in Zimbabwe who aligns himself with ZANU PF is actually the problem that we are trying to fight. This is why I think every Zimbabwe needs to be roped in. We cannot put it on Chamisa alone. We can't put it on politicians. Each and every one of us need to take responsibility. We are funding this behavior. We are supporting them being a culture, and the people are doing everything in their power to keep the status. Look, if you look at Moses Impof and all these Chiwenga people, they are simply trying to maintain the status we put on them. Being all manner of nonsense. So there's some people who are looting from the state. We need to start looking at ourselves and say, what's my action? How can I change my behavior to become a better Zimbabwe? Because if you want a better country, you need to change. Otherwise, we can have a new leader and we still have a broken society. It is the society that needs to change. Now, Triple C they have demands. They expect SADC. I know many people are like, we don't want to hear about SADC. But last year, for those that didn't actually know, I'm going to bring that interview because it's a very important interview. Joy Charamba is on record immediately after elections. Do you remember when the COM report, the preliminary report came out? And at that time, Dr. Mumba was having interviews explaining how they came up with the verdict. I do remember this, that Joe Charamba had an interview with SABC and ETV. And he says the report is only going to be discussed next year in Zimbabwe during the SADC summit. So why is it Mumba is going back and forth with the same issue? It's unfortunate that ZANU PF is doing everything in their power to make sure at least they capitalize on almost every loophole. But I remember that interview, and I'm going to bring it to you. You hear Joy Charamba on record confirming that the COM report is going to be discussed during the SADC summit. So give people a chance, because I know some people already bastardizing, no, SADC is not going to do anything. I said give them a chance. We will try everything until we cross. But we cannot rule out that SADC is going to do something about the COM report. Maybe they may not be, maybe they will be able to do so. I don't think they're going to sit back and let Zimbabwe burn like what happened in Kenya. Do you also know that Nigeria is also having elections protests that are coming soon? I heard, which other country again? That is Uganda as well. I mean, Africa realized that no, we are being abused, we are being used. That's why in Zimbabwe, protests are coming during the SADC meeting. And ZANU PF is burning. They're paranoid because they know it's going to turn the whole tables upside down. Protests are definitely coming, whether they like it or not. So Nigeria, good, this is why I'm still saying our police, the police Zimbabwe, you need to introspect as well, because in Nigeria, the police commissioner is telling people that his citizens will not beat those that are protesting. Let people protest freely. Don't stop them. We don't want violence in this country. We don't hear that from Zimbabwe, where the police in Zimbabwe who rather align themselves with politicians, and when Zimbabweans are on the street, they're simply fighting for everyone. They're not fighting for individuals, it's for everyone. Having a Zimbabwe that works, where we don't have to live our lives in poverty, in suffering, in fear, it requires all of us to work together. So police Zimbabwe, now you can see in Nigeria, South Africa as well, police knows well that they do owe allegiance to the bad. No, the South African is not a bird, it's a badge. South Africa's got a star. Zimbabwe is a bird, the Zimbabwean bird, and also even our flag as well. You're owing allegiance to the people. Police Zimbabwe is there to serve the people of Zimbabwe. The army is there to serve the people of Zimbabwe, to protect the leaders of this country. But no, now they've decided, some of them, especially the leaders, the big fishes, the big wigs, to align themselves with the political party. Yes, I know that ZANU PF, for this army that we have, especially the old guards army, they owe allegiance to the party because the party had to actually bring up this group of people. But you can't tell me that you can put the party above the Zimbabwean people. The country is burning. People are hungry, people are suffering, children are leaving the country, and you're just sitting as old guards and just doing nothing. The deep state need to understand that they are there to protect the Zimbabweans. It's their leaders that matters. I saw people today on X again talking about how the army are being eliminated. You fought in 2017 to bring this current regime in power, but the very same regime, allegations are, they're eliminating you. They're killing you. So which one are you going to choose there? To stay being killed or to stand by the people and say, enough, we need to protect the leaders of our country? These are what people are saying on social media across the board, that soldiers, their generals are being eliminated. That's what people are saying. ZANU PF people are saying the same. That has been supporting. I know Majera says on record. I know Neva Masura says on record. This has been a staunch supporter for ZANU PF, saying army generals are being eliminated by the regime so that they can keep themselves in power. Because remember, the army that brought them into power are going to turn against them, because people are saying there's going to be a coup. These are simply, speculations that the coup is coming, because people, if this regime is not prepared to have a conversation, the only way is to take them out is by the coup. And then people can restart, which I agree. If you came through the back door, you're going to get out through the back door. It is what it is, unfortunately. It's the principle of life. Now, just to tell you what the priorities of ZANU PF is crazy. Do you know that they are investing 10 million to bring condoms in Zimbabwe? 10 million to protect those that want to be immoral. 10 million to protect the immoral society that just want to go and have sex in 2024. These are their priorities. What else are supposed to tell you? Are you shocked knowing the behavior of, Mohadi is on record with really crazy behaviors? You also remember the story of Susan Mutami. Again, very immoral people that are in leadership. Now they are investing 10 million to buy condoms. You just heard me correctly. So Herald reported that $10 million needed to procure condoms. 10 million. No one ever talk about buying a medication, because let me tell you, having sex is a choice. Remember, it's not like it's a disease or something. You choose, right? Sorry. Yeah, like it's a choice. It's a choice. It's not like you're sick or something. No, you're not. Then if you want to be happy, then you're going to have to pay for it. But really expecting the state to spend 10 million on acquiring condoms for individuals who want Jema Faro, I find that is strange and weird. I really find that very much weird, honestly. But there was an explanation why they would want to purchase condoms. And I'm going to read for you the explanation. This was actually Kudam Sasiwa who sent it out. He said one of the DIFCOP investors explained to me what's happening here. Apparently, Zimbabwe has done so well with 95% of people who have HIV now know they have HIV, and 95% of them are on RE. No, you want to say? I think you wanted to say my ARVs. You said ARTs, but I think you wanted to say ARVs. I'm sure, or maybe it's ART. I'm not really. Please bless me for those that may have knowledge on that. Incredible. I have so much respect for people, and I think this disease is something that is manageable. And then he went on to saying, which means Zimbabwe no longer qualifies for the WHO, which is or the UN subsidy. We need to buy our own free keys now. In other words, Zimbabwe is no longer qualified to be given free condoms, so they are now investing money, almost 10 million US dollars, to acquire condoms, right? This is there's no problem here. The easiest way to deal with, people must just live right. If you are married, respect your marriage and be faithful to your partner. If you're single like I am, it's okay to abstain until you find a man to marry you. That's the solution to the problem, in my opinion. Because honestly, what is the point of spending money on? Yeah. Right? You can just abstain from this thing if you're a single person. But if you are married, be faithful to your partner. Simple. It's that simple. We have a solution on the table. We don't need to spend 10 million US dollars to buy condoms for the people. We don't really need to do. Anyone who wants to live their own life, you're more than welcome to go in and spend your money. But really, for the state to spend 10 million when we don't have medication in hospitals, I find that's really insane. It's strange. Now, we move on to the succession battle. Jesus Christ. Guns are out. Guns are out. These people are not backing down their arms. This is the problem. When you create a monster society, and I've told you before, when you create a monster society, it becomes a culture. Don't forget that. Anything that you tolerate, right, not only does it glorify itself, but it also have the capacity to create a society that comes with it and that's supported. Now, here's the thing. Guns are out within the parameters of ZANU PF because the youth are fighting, and there are factions within the youth also. Some align themselves with Chiwenga, some align themselves with Mnangagwa, and Mnangagwa has really spent quite a lot of... Mnangagwa wasn't doing much in the country because he was investing more on his power retention. You know what I mean? He wasn't doing much. That's why it is always about human power, nothing else. So for that reason, he definitely has, built some very rough or violent structures that should back him up. So Tinoma Chakere is out here, gun blazing, actually speaking that you do not have to mess up. Don't mess up. And by the way, Tinoma Chakere, I think he aligns with Mnangagwa, because I remember I saw him last time at the airport when he was busy singing Mnangagwa and hailing the president, Emerson Mnangagwa. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, people have the right to choose whoever they want to lead. But if that can cost our peace, then there's a problem, I have someone that I should support, and I'm very clear on where I stand as far as supporting Chamisa is concerned. It's very clear. It's not something that I hide. Because me, I'm an open-minded person. I'm not believing, you can't threaten me to choose who I don't want to choose. I'm clear I want to support Chamisa, and it's known, right? Oh yes, it's known. I have the right as a Zimbabwean to choose a leader. And Tinoma Chakere as well, he has the right to choose Mnangagwa. But when you start threatening society and say that you're going to release the thugs to go in and threaten our people, then there's a problem. Because people do not support Mnangagwa. Because Mnangagwa would want to retain power by all means. Tendai, it is on record, again, confirming that, you're just being hoodwinked. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you can see in town right now as we speak, across the country, there are people who still sing, who do everything in our power to protect Mnangagwa. You can hear them singing 24/7. They're singing. And if Mnangagwa is authentically and genuinely say, guys, I've done my part, I'm closing the lead, I'm out of here, I'm passing the baton, I don't think you allow people to sing the way they do. And remember, these people don't just sing. There is communication within the camps to say, hey, you go around and say this. They can even pay people to push a narrative. You're much aware. It's on record that Mnangagwa is the most richest man in the country. So what does it mean? He uses his money to play the cards. Right, has been doing it. His money or the state money, or whatever the case may be, he does. Because when we look at what happened last year with the ZEC scandal, you can see that they don't use their money. They use the state money. They're going and come with all these dubious deals, like this $10 million condom issue. They can just even bring condoms that were donated and say, we bought them, right? The goat scheme. Did you see mbudzi zacho makadziona mbudzi ngani in Zimbabwe? Right? Few mbudzi dzakangoonekwa dzichingonzi tikupai mbudzi. You can't even, they didn't even get to 100. But 87 million went off the state money. Without the mbudzi, ngopiwa vanhu so. And they didn't even deliver, right? Yeah, without delivery, they still get money. That will show you the kind of people they are. But what happened with the SEC? They were dishing out, they took the money, they begin to share the money among themselves. It's on record, Wikino's device audios are explaining the kind of people we have in the country and what their mission is. Their mission is simple: collecting, looting, day in, day out. From the north to the south. I'm going to deal with Guamatanga and Mtwangwa tomorrow. Very important. I need to deal with that because these two men, Guamatanga, if you look at Guamatanga today, how big his stomach is, I just want to let you guys know, if you really monitor, I'm very analytic, okay? Do not forget that when Shavangu came on the other day, he was just like this ratchet dude. But these days, he's clean, wearing Italian suits. I mean, his tummy is bigger, he's gained weight. Why not? He's driving a Fortuna, doing the dirty work, and you get the money out. That's what they live for. Look at Guamatanga today. He's not a tall, big man, big tummy. Is wearing a 1 million watch. Guamatanga, how much money is his salary? Lifestyle audit. He had a fancy wedding for his daughter in Cape Town. It's money for the state. Right? They're living large, these people. It's simply taking, and they do their thing. Mutulingwe allegations are he's building a fancy house in Denfen, top class in the golf course in 2024. And this is the Minister of Finance, who is working in Zimbabwean society. He is the Minister of Finance in Zimbabwe, but he does not trust the economy he's building in South Africa. That's where he wants to stay. That's Mutulingwe for you. He doesn't trust the economy that he's leading. He does not trust it. And then you expect that person to have your best interests? No, he doesn't have. He doesn't have. So Chinoma Chakere is on record threatening citizens. Take a listen, please. Threatening people that we are going to unleash our boys. And when they say boys, who they're referring to? The thugs. The one that abduct, torture, or kill. Inject poison. These are the people he says, you mess up, we are going to unleash our dogs, or our thugs, or our boys. That is Chinoma Chakere. First and foremost, Tino doesn't even know that he's young. We are going to deal with him. Take a listen, please.
Yes. Don't forget also Chiwenga was on record saying the same thing, that muno kuara vakomana regerai muno kuara, right? Chiwenga is on record. Guys, I'm gonna ask you to like the live. On TikTok, we're almost 1,000 likes here. TikTok is on fire. They're always there, but we started on YouTube. There are almost 250 people on YouTube. You must like the live. Push algorithm. On TikTok, it's on fire, and we're good to go. You heard. Chinoma Chakere says, he said we can unleash our boys. If you mess up, That's what we do. And like I said, Mnangagwa spent all his time investing in building a very rough society or a violent society. You can see, I mean, what little thing there's fighting, what little thing they push back. That's what he's done. So he's simply telling you, if you want to mess up, well, it's our boys. But I'm sure he's referring to Mutsvangwa because you know Mutsvangwa is also on record now. Again, you hear Mutsvangwa speaking. Now, in the 90s, right, Edson Dlobo says something so powerful. Edson Dlobo, we was also, you know, he was an attorney within the camps of ZANU PF. So he said on one day, that is the standard reporting, one day in the late 90s, Edson Dlobo, the late ZANU PF legal supremo, he was a very intelligent man, may he so rest in peace, was asked by a patron at one of his hotels in Masvingo whether he was to be the president of Zimbabwe. He said, but what he said, then he responded, his response was very clear. He said, it's only a stupid teacher that doesn't aspire to be a headmaster, was his loaded reply. It's only a stupid person who doesn't aspire to be. Which other means is that people that aspire to succeed in Mnangagwa are right. I mean, who can't? I mean, if I was in that position and I can wiggle my way to the eye, why not? I can do it. Because now we can see also Moda is also fighting to succeed in Mnangagwa. Okay, we'll get into the Moda part. Any person who votes for Moda, you're sick in your head. You are sick, even if you are in the parameters of ZANU PF, to really vote for Moda. Unopenga. But I'm going to read this tweet, very strong tweet. It said, due to stagnation and corruption, that is Alina Kaye, due to stagnation and corruption and looting, there's a generation in Zimbabwe who have no idea of what is development. They have become fodder for ZANU PF propaganda. And he's right. He's not lying. Right, you can see that all these young people, including Tinoma Chakari, and I'm very disappointed because the last time I saw Tino, he was flying a private jet. You know, imagine leaving Harare, going to the rural area with a private jet in a poverty-stricken society. But that's who they are in ZANU PF. They're just looting. This is why they're clapping hands and do anything to protect Mnangagwa because, I mean, they know that he protects them whenever they do wrong. But what they don't realize is that there is a third force that is coming. I said a third force that nobody knows it's coming. It's going to come into the boom in the country and everything. There is a third force. Just, you heard me. There's a third force that is coming. You see when it comes. All these shenanigans is nonsense. They'll be nowhere to be found. Very soon. So stagnation, that's the reason why they behave the way they do. It's poverty mentality. They don't understand that screaming and shouting and fight does not mean development. Looting is not riches. And they don't understand that principle that you need to work for things. But in a ZANU PF, they just believe to say, I must just align with myself with this leader or chef, whatever the case may be, so at least I can get access to stuff. You know? Same as that. So Same now, Zimbabwe today, he now responded, he said they don't know what is pension. They don't know what is salary. They don't know what is holidays. They don't know what means. Hange from shopping. Some don't know money. I've seen gastronomy propaganda circulating, but how do you gastronomize if you don't have a cent, no water? I was also shocked with what is Auxilia Mnangagwa selling here? What is she talking about? What is she gallivanting, really preaching in the country? Because, I mean, everything is a mess. But that's what they do. They capitalize on deception. You know, they lie to people. They sell this fake lifestyle to say it's existing, and they bring like some few wise people. I don't know whatever trinkets they're getting. You know, we've got minerals. Don't forget Mnangagwa was on record talking to Putin and Russia, saying you can come through with minerals in exchange. So that will show you some of these guys are just simply getting things and these trinkets, and then they begin to support anything that doesn't make no sense. You see them giving each other certificates. You ask, what is this all about? When the country is burning. But I've always been taking the woman that is in prison with a 1-year child and said, ma'am, we thought that you can speak on behalf of women as a first lady. But the first lady in Zimbabwe, no, it's just, she's also on a power mission. Like what Grace used to do. You know, Grace Mugabe did the same thing before Mugabe was toppled. You know, she was pushing, she was doing all manner of things. I think that's where she is. But can we say history is repeating itself? It definitely is in a Zimbabwean context. They can forget easily. They think they are so clever, like they've got it all together, but they don't have none because they are heavily infiltrated. Majority of people that they think are for them, they are not for them. Time will tell. You will see what I'm telling you, that they are heavily infiltrated. They don't know. You are playing your games through infiltration. You did it to Chamisa, hoping that you can get away with it. No, you saw evil, it comes back. You saw it. It's a principle. So they don't see it coming. It's coming. Their season is coming. They are heavily infiltrated. Heavily. In fact, they were infiltrated before elections. Time will tell. But I want you to know that ZANU PF is pegged with cowards. They believe in fights. They don't believe in using brain capability, ideas on the table. No, these ones believe in violence. That's all they can unleash. Threatening people is all they are. Fighting, releasing thugs is who they are. So Mutsvangwa is on record again today, having an interview with Standard, saying Chiwenga will not automatically succeed Mnangagwa. We have to go to Congress. But which I'm saying, and I'm asking, I'm like, but Mutsvangwa, you're in trouble because you disrespected the war veterans, remember? I think earlier this year, the war veterans were also angry with Mutsvangwa. So for that reason, you're in trouble. I think Chiwenga may succeed Mnangagwa, considering, but I think within the camps of ZANU PF, but not for my vote, not my vote, within the camps of ZANU PF, because they may not even have someone to appoint, but again, there's speculation that Mnangagwa may appoint Valerio, and honestly, if he had to appoint Sibanda Valerio, that would be the best decision he would ever make. In my opinion, within the camps of ZANU PF, it's the best thing ever to do, because that man is a man who is very stable, he's respectful, he's not perfect because he's sitting while he's seeing all these shenanigans, but I remember him on record saying that when we were in the army, we were taught to love, to share, and to care, but unfortunately, we have a group of people who are just amassing wealth. People have turned against the very same principles we believed in. So I still believe there's an iota of truth in him. So Sibanda may be the best person to succeed Mnangagwa. You know what I mean? And don't forget, people are saying he's related to Mnangagwa, and Mnangagwa has got interest. Remember, it's got interest to protect. So Chiwenga and Mutsvangwa, Mutsvangwa, please, Mutsvangwa, for your big mouth, you have no chance. But let's hear him out, because he's on record having an interview with the Standard. And say Chiwenga will not, again, like he said it's not, ZANU PF is not a cult. So, there's no way a person can just wake up and say, I'm going to the front. Take a listen.
Because in politics, you must have ambition, but you must play by the rules, especially of a revolutionary democratic party. That's why the president was he says, I will not usurp the decision-making powers of the people of Zimbabwe or the membership of ZANU PF. I will not usurp it. You must be chosen. And if you are a member of ZANU PF, you go to the pedigree. ZANU PF was founded upon. Voluntarily, people going to die to say for democracy. ZANU PF is not a secret society. In the Pope, in the Vatican, you can have secret agreement because it's not a democratic organization. In the Anglican Church in Canterbury, because it's this they can claim it came from God, because it's not a democratic organization.
Do you know what I realize? I realize that ZANU PF is pegged with cowards. I don't know why Zimbabweans, we can't see that. We are simply being sold an illusion. I don't know why we are chickening out. These people are the most weak people ever. I'm actually, look the way Mutsvangwa is speaking. If they were that strong, if they were protecting ED, because remember Mutsvangwa is in between. Mutsvangwa is not endorsing Mnangagwa to carry on after 2028. And majority of people within the camps who want Mnangagwa, no, they are alleging that they want Mnangagwa to stay. First and foremost, I know they hire crowds to support anything stupid. I know how they do stuff. But Mutsvangwa is in the middle because he is bastardizing Chiwenga. He also does not want Mnangagwa to carry on after 2028, right? So which means he's at the middle. He also wants, he's got his own interests, maybe to succeed him. He assumes that if they go to Congress, there's a possibility that people can vote for Mutsvangwa to succeed ED. But like I said, it has got interest, which I don't know. But at the end of the day, if there's Congress, means the Congress, the people within the camps of ZANU PF will decide who can succeed Mnangagwa. if they manage to get to 2028, because some people are saying, pray they get to 2028, considering the corruption that's going on now. History may repeat itself, like what happened during the time of Mugabe, because the reason why they removed Mugabe was because there were criminals around the president. But now, how many criminals are around the president? It's worse than the way it was during the time of Mugabe. So with that being said, the very same strategy of the coup can be the one applied also to actually be able to unseat Mnangagwa before 2028. These are speculations that are going down again on social media. I remember Jealous on record saying the very same thing, that he may be toppled the same way that he did to Mugabe, because he's even worse in terms of criminals around him, and he himself, Mnangagwa, being robbed in so many corrupted deals. So for that reason, what's the point of keeping him? Because the country is losing more and more money. Every day, there's something that is being spent a lot of money. We had condoms, $10 million US for buying condoms. I mean, what does that? When there's no medication in hospitals, because condoms, people can deal with themselves and do the right thing. It's as simple as that. But here's the thing. Chiwenga, again, is people have been bastardizing on social media that he's spending too much money just gallivanting. He's literally working with countries that we don't even know. They're no-name countries. So some of them, you can't even pronounce their names. I don't know what business is he doing there. Some people is just smuggling, they're alleging that he's smuggling minerals out of the country. Someone I read here where they say France President Emmanuel Macron and his wife receiving Zimbabwean President Constantine Chiwenga, and his wife, right? A position which is being resisted by John Paraza, Minister Owen Ngwe, Minister Tatenda Madevetra, I think it's Minister Zamira and a few others. So they are saying they do not want Chiwenga to succeed, because Chiwenga, the way he's moving around and gallivanting in these countries, and he's acting like someone who's already a president, he's seeing himself on the throne, and so for that reason, they're saying people are actually against him being the successor. So, like I said, I mean, for me, I don't think he can qualify to be the successor. Again, I don't have anything against him, but when I look at his, resume, I'm like, no. The Minister of Health that he had as an MS, guys, who wants to have a president like him? Anyway, it's not my problem, because, whoever that wants to come against Chamisa, we all know Chamisa or Bit Kasukure is going to be there as well. I don't know if he's going to come as an independent candidate or he's going to also be coming under, ZANU PF, because there have been a lot of tweets online, again, speaking about him becoming actually the one that will stand on behalf of ZANU PF, which means if there can be a coup, there's a possibility, like what happened in 2017, this is just my speculations. What happened in 2017 is they endorse someone, which means if there can be a coup in the country, right, they can endorse, Kasukure to be the first secretary for ZANU PF. And I tell you what, he can actually be a very strong candidate to at least be able to garner some votes, because I know some people don't like him. They're saying he's got a terrible history. But we must never forget that if they have to have Kasukure in the camp, Kasukure is still at least being able to say, hey, you can't compare with Chiwenga. You cannot compare with Moda. I mean, for all the people, Moda, they say he doesn't even have a wife. So you see, so the Moda thing is definitely out, because they again is still writing out that Midland State Provincial State Minister Owen Moda Ngube, one of the key 2030 proper just, okay, he is leading a 2030 faction with motive to succeed President Emerson Mnangagwa. Oh, okay, and that's the reporting that a well-known President Mnangagwa's ally, he is being backed by John Paraza, Esra Jamadzira, and also Tatena Mavetra. Oh, I see. Oh, that's why they always sing. So they want to endorse. I don't think Mnangagwa would endorse Moda. No, Moda does not even have. Moda don't even have the charisma of being a leader. Mutsvangwa will be better than Moda. Moda is definitely nothing. Like, I can't even begin to fathom having Moda, even as a candidate for ZANU PF, because hey, the guy is vile. The guy is just got a terrible energy comes with him. He's just a scary man. He does not even have anything that represents a president or represent a leader. In my opinion, so Moda is definitely out. It's out and it's out. I would want to see. I wish. If Mnangagwa would at least appoint Valerio, in my opinion, maybe that will stand better, but isn't. army person. Maybe that was the reason why. Remember last time when you wanted to make him a ZANU PF? Do you remember what was ZANU PF? What? There's a name that they called it, and then people complained, and then he pulled out. Do you remember? What was ex-official? Yes, yes. Maybe that was the reason why Mnangagwa was doing it, because he wanted to make sure at least he's within the camps of ZANU PF, and then so when there's a congress, then maybe people who vote for him or he can endorse him, because honestly, Valerio is better than these other people. These, I don't know if they can be able to stand as candidates. All right, so we're gonna move on. Yeah, I really want to talk about this. It's simply like a waste of my time. But because someone sent me this tour of the information, and I thought it is so important for one or two reasons. And I think there's a fight going on Facebook right now that is between this my teacher and what's the other lady, what's Wasu or something. You know, I know the people that, like I said, I don't really care about the gossip on Facebook, but because people send it to me and they wanted me to know what's my take on it. For that reason, I'm going to comment on it. But like I said, I want to stay within the politics rank, but I also want to see what's happening in the social area, because with time, we're eventually going to get more deeper into the social, because we have to fix Zimbabwe. There's no any other way around. It has to be fixed. Now, there is fight between these two, but the last time I checked, my Titi was staying with this Wasu in the house. But I'm going to go somewhere because, listen, I know what happens when all these relationships. I'm someone with, you know, and there's got a number of Zimbabweans who are helping their family members as well. And, you know, and what turns, be it family or be it any person, because at the end of the day, we are all family, right? So we should all just help each other. I also need help from people. I also think that those that have a blessing to stretch their hands should go ahead and do it. But I want you to listen to what she's saying while she's crying. And this is actually Wasu here. Again, like I said, I wasn't really much deeper into those drama things. It's not my kind of commentary. But however, I will comment on it based on my understanding. Take a listen, please.
Address something. And kuda kutaura zvakawanda. I don't want to waste your time ndiri pano ndichivahwata ndichitaura zvakawanda, because I think my silence has said more than enough. Handisi munhu wemadrama, but zvakandirwadza the post yakaiswa nezuro yekutaura kuti I'm a street kid. Handisi street kid ini. I have a family there in Mutare. Patakasangana, because I don't come here and say stuff that does not mean I'm I'm just keeping quiet because I choose to. I choose not to do violence. I choose to be quiet. And that should be message enough. And this is street kid. When I first saw you, Patakatanga Kusangan, I had a life. I'm not saying Kuti, my life was all together and stuff like that. I was going through life when we first met. I really appreciate that. But now coming and saying Kuti, I'm a street kid, and this is street kid, and I'm street, I have a family.
Wow. Okay. All right. So she is crying. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's terrible. Oh, wow.
Just because I don't come here and say stuff, that does not mean I'm I moved out of your life trying to make a living because I wanted to grow. Every opportunity I get, you just find a way of crushing it. It's just being crushed wherever I go. I'm failing to pay my rentals right now. I don't even know where I'm going to get my rent. I'm not going to work. Everything is just being crushed down. And this is street kid. I also have a life. I also have people that loves me. Everything is gonna come from Mwana. And me being silent is not mean enough is enough. I've tolerated you enough. I've tolerated everything enough. I'm not gonna I moved out of your life.
All right, so wow, that's That's a lot. When people cry, it become emotional, right? But one thing I want to tell you is that being someone who once got help from others and being a person who have also helped others, human beings are interesting. Okay, interesting. So there are two parts here that we need to look at. So let's look at from my teacher's point. I need to talk about this woman. This woman is known on record that she's the most loose cannon woman ever. This woman is extremely toxic. Some may argue and say, oh, because she's on record that she's HIV positive. It's known. But that cannot be an excuse because she's not the only person who's HIV positive. I know a lot. I mean, imagine her, the way she screams and shouts and swears. The last time she went to prison, she came out being a better person, but now she's devoted to her personality again. She's got a history of exchanging men, which is not my business. But for me, I'm like, if you help someone, right? You help someone and you part ways. What is this all drama for? I'm not have the nitty-gritties, but I don't find this really exciting because if you help someone, you genuinely from the bottom of your heart want to be of a blessing. Where's this nonsense coming from? Why the drama? Why can't you just let a person be? Do you understand what I'm saying? And you did well by helping. No, let the person go. She left properly. And I remember there was another drama that I saw against someone sent me. I was like, you know what? I'm too busy for this. But I realized that when people want me to really look into the social issues like I put on my bio, and I should. But for me, it's like you help someone. We have done for a lot of people. And some of them don't even say hello to us. But it's okay. It's between them and God. You know what I mean? I've done my part and I've changed your life. No, I didn't change. God have used me to change your life. Because remember, it's God who does things, not me. I'm just a vessel. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't really appreciate the way that she does. If a person is moved out and is living their life, you're following them, want to destroy almost every and remove that they make. No, you're not a good person. You are really not a good person. She's not a good person. Why does she have to make life hell for Wasu? Wasu, and some people, I saw them really sending very vile messages like, you are a man whatsoever. Hold on. Don't mix two things there. Her gender of being, whatever is called, it's nothing to do with how she's being treated. So you must not mix the two. So just because I am a gay, you must abuse me because I'm gay. No. Don't do that. Let her be. But it's not right for her to keep on following and try to destroy her. I find that really weird and wrong and evil. It must be condemned. You understand what I'm saying? It must be. And she said it. She's been quiet. And I know, mate, it can push you to the edge. She's really, really very toxic. And people don't want to tell her because some of them are like supporting her. You know how it is on social media, I don't want that. If I'm wrong, please, respectfully so, you can talk to me. You can get hold of me. You can also still even comment. I've seen people commenting sometimes when I'm wrong and I'm like, hey, thank you for helping me to become a better person. But we cannot have a society of people who keep on hurting others and get away with it. This woman has hurt a lot of people. A lot of people. And I see Zimbabweans have got a tendency of saying, if I love social media or socialite, you call them, then no matter what happens, even if they can do the worst, I'm still going to support them. No. We cannot keep on hurting innocent people in the name of protecting a socialite. Sometimes it takes us speaking truth into power so that at least she can be free. Might it is toxic, and unfortunately, she needs to stop. She must let Wasu be. It's one thing to say, you help me, and you says I must pay for the help that you make. At least tell me, then I can do so. Do you understand? And then there's also an element of people, and I remember I've had that experience where a person started taking my clients to someone else when I helped the person. And that pissed me off. You understand? I'm like, no, but I helped you, and you found me building my business and you're taking my clients to another person so that you can be given money aside. It's wrong. I understand that. Maybe that's the reason why she's doing so. But you were saying with the person, then she built her business as a makeup artist. She's got her own clientele. Let her be. Let her do her thing. Let her pay her bills. Now you're blocking her. She can't afford to pay rent. That is not right. She must be condemned. Might it is toxic, and she must let Wasu be. Wasu too, on the other hand. And honestly, I've seen Wasu being quiet, but you must not discuss people when you leave. You walk away from someone, do not discuss. This is why I've always been encouraging the non-disclosure forms. And Zimbabweans always say to me, I'm crazy. Hey, let me tell you, even if I date a person, you're going to sign a non-disclosure. Because you know why? I've got a name to protect. You're going to go around and talk nonsense about me. I've got a name to protect. You will sign a non-disclosure. Zimbabwean people need to understand business and friendships. These people worked together. There must be a non-disclosure. Means you don't talk about me when I leave, and I don't talk about you too when I go, right? Because then at least there's a respect, mutual respect for both people. So honestly, I would encourage you, so if you can listen to this message next time, when you get to work with someone, please respect non-disclosure. Ask them to have an ND, get an attorney who can put it together. They must sign it. You don't talk about me when I leave, neither do I talk about you when I leave. You do your thing, I do my thing, life goes on. Because I see people have a tendency of keeping your information and use that against you in future. It is wrong. You use that against me, I'll take you down. I'll deal with you. It's not going to be a joke. I will deal with you accordingly. And I know some people says others don't have anything to lose. I get it. But man, if you cross the line, I'm coming after you. And I'm not joking. I've got a name to protect. I have a legacy to protect. I'm going to have children. I'm going to have a husband. You do not mess up with my life, neither do I do yours. You see, we need to start creating a society that is normal. Enough with this nonsense that we're seeing, embarrassing, disclosing information on social media. No, you don't do that. You will respect me and I will respect you. You know what I'm saying? So she's right. Wasu need to start respecting non-disclosure. Say, Miss Wasu, if she's a man, I don't know, a man or woman, whatever it is. But I'm just saying, if you get to listen to this message, please have a non-disclosure. Not anymore, so people will respect you. Make it clear. Please, I have a name, I have a legacy, I've got a business to protect. Simple as that. Now we're going to move on. Jealousy as well. Jealousy is a bad thing. I think Matty is begin to be jealousy. She does not want to see this woman leave. You leave me. People like that. It's like an aggressive, crazy man. You left me, I'm no longer your boyfriend, but I don't want you to see with any man. Like that obsession, you don't have a life without me. You don't do that. You do not do that. So I guess that's what's playing here. But anyway, we're going to hear from Oprah Winfrey about jealousy. It's a problem. Jealousy is bad. We are in this mess in Zimbabwe context because of jealousy. Jealousy is the reason, even in Zimbabwe, why we are stuck. Jealousy. People are very jealousy, and they will do anything to make sure that they keep you at ransom. It is not right. I heard even Oprah Winfrey today talking about, she was talking about that you don't have to be friendly to anyone who doesn't match your energy. Do you understand? Friendship. Let me tell you, the easiest way to know that someone is jealous of you. If you're seeing people, some people don't say anything, but you can hear the sound. Like, or like, there's a funny sound that they make, or, man, the sound I'm referring to, right? They will make some crazy sound, or look at you with an eye that makes you feel uncomfortable, or they just do, or the energy they send you, you can feel the thickness. No, man, something's wrong here. You don't want to be friendly to people like that, right? Don't friend them. Don't befriend them, right? You need to be friendly with people who match your energy. If you're a businesswoman, then befriend business people. And I'm not only saying business people, because you need to meet business people with classy, because it's not only every business person who's doing the right thing. Majority of them are jealous and they'll do anything to bring you down. So make sure that you're playing with the right people. Whether we like it or not, I was having a conversation with someone today that people don't want to hear the truth. The South African situation between the DA and the ANC, that some people are criticizing, and rightfully so, because they still hold on to the past. I get it. It's like the way that I hate ZANU PF. You know what I mean? It's because of the way they've caused pain to our people. I hate that party. I hate it with passion. And I'm always put it out there. They said, I hate ZANU PF. And I'm not lying. But we must understand, good, if we have a new president in the country, that president has to love even the ZANU PF people. You know why? For the sake of progress, we have to unite. Do you understand what I'm saying? You see this, right? So, Ramaphosa wasn't stupid. He understood the power white people carry, principles and values. And they believe, one thing that you can't take away from white people is they are united. If something happens and there's a white people and two black people, or the white person does something wrong and there's a black person, they would rather say the black person have done it than the white people. You know why? They protect their race. And the black people, we don't have that. We don't have support for each other. Instead of building each other, we bring each other down. Because we have poverty mentality. We don't understand that where there's unity, there's success. because unity commanded the blessing. It's a principle. When a family is united, nothing and no one can beat a united family or a united couple. If a husband and a wife are united, they command a blessing. And nothing you can do to bring those people down, whether in a positive way or in a negative way. So it means if a husband and a wife, they are crooks or fraudsters, they will defraud and very strongly because of their unity. So if they are good people and they are business people, look at Strive Masiwa and the wife. It takes unity of purpose, understanding, and mutual respect to be able to build something so strong. Right. But he was smart. I'm going to Ramaphosa. He was wise. He realized that no, we need wise people here to bring principles. If they could have let our people, and I'm sorry to say this, with the pace of looting that was happening in South Africa, it was going to go straight in the way of Zimbabwe. You see where Zimbabwe is today. You see what's going on with President Mnangagwa. He puts his relatives. That's how black people are. It's about my family, and the rest of the people are not important. It's me, my people. Anyone who support me, who bootlick me, they're the only one that should be eating. Everyone else is useless. But it takes wisdom and understanding that when you're building a nation, that you have to work with everybody. You have to work with everybody. You need to look at people's strength, not your hatred towards them. And even now when we are moving into the new Zimbabwe that we are facing current right now, that is coming soon. Yeah, know that it's coming soon. I'm telling you, I'm not joking. You see, we cannot have leaders based on you're my friend. No, we need to have leaders based on does the person have what it takes. Meritocracy to lead, and that person can go. But because I support Chamisa must get a position. No. Do I have the qualities to serve the people of Zimbabwe with respect and honor? Yes or no? If I don't have it, no. It does not matter how much I dance or how much I was singing. That is not important because we are in this predicament, in this mess in a Zimbabwean context because we held friendship, not leadership. Honestly, under normal circumstances, if the elders and the deep state was honest to the Zimbabwean people, Mnangagwa was not supposed to be the president of Zimbabwe in 2017. If they were authentic and honest, because he showed beyond reasonable doubt that he does not have the qualities to be a leader. And I love him and I respect him, but I'm sorry to say this, when I look at his history and look at what he has done in the country, it's chaos. In 2017, we were so united. We were so one. He could have come in and say, yo, we need to move. I remember when he just came in, he was telling people on Facebook, tell me what you want. What do you want me to do to you? What can I change? Yo, million comments. People were typing, your excellency, your excellence. People forgot about the Gukura Hunti. They forgot about all the atrocities. They were supporting him. So we need to really be honest in the Zimbabwe that we're approaching to choose leaders based on meritocracy. Not, I know you, oh no, I want to go Chijamba, or maybe Chiwipa Buduza Chamisa. We don't care. Because we need to do away with a culture of entitlement. Forefront. So if you are at the forefront because you want to have a position, then you are actually cancer. You are wrong and you're not supposed to be there. We should have a leadership based on, do we have the qualities to serve the people of Zimbabwe without fear or favor? All right? That's all I want you guys to know. Prepare either way, but make sure you choose the right ministers for the job. Whatever it because, oh no, but I'm not at the forefront. No. It's not about being at the forefront. It's can you serve with integrity? Can you serve with humility? And I said, can you serve? Not can you come as a God to collect. That you want us to worship you because you act like you are a God, because you are a minister. The last time I checked, the ministers are servants. Members of parliament are servants. They're not gods. That should be coming in demand. I saw last week they're demanding for expensive cars. That's cancer to the country. We want leaders that have qualities to serve. People that have built something from their own hard-earned money. Because you know what? That's not success. We talk about people who build something. Because if they build something, it's easier for the person to be in a position to say, you know what? It's not about me taking, because I'm cool. You know, I know how it takes to actually work for money, but I'm gonna let us serve the poor. Let us build a country and build a strong legacy that at least will represent who we are. We may not benefit, but at least our children and our children's children, at least let's lay a good foundation for our children. It doesn't matter that we did not benefit from this war. Chaos that Mnangagwa and his regime, Mugabe and his regime has done, destroying the beautiful country. At least we can have a Zimbabwe where we look back and say we did our part. Because listen to me, in the next 50 years, all of us will be in heaven. We'll be in heaven, all of us. Some of you, if you don't, if you go to hell, but at the end of the day, we'll be up there with the Father. So, if we can be up there with the Father, why do we hate each other now? Why are we enemies? Why do we have to separate ourselves because of politics when we are going to be under the same roof forever? Is it not wise for us to love each other now? It's not wise to do the right thing now because we know that we're always going to be together, don't we? Right? I'm asking you to really consider love. Please spread the fire of love everywhere you go. We cannot allow a hatred to succeed. We can't allow in fact, if you hear me wherever you are, brother, the last time I checked, I thought you actually have some sense, but I realized that no, you are very empty-headed. You don't even think proper. You are so obsessed with all this money and looting. But listen, brother, stop your ways. We need to fix this country for the sake of generations, not individuals with their own personal overdebt. No, we have to fix Zimbabwe for our children. Guys, amuzokufara muchifamba mutaoni makachena mune matoilets ari kushanda are clean. Like you didn't even build a toilet. Like that's why I'm surprised you want to buy 10 million condoms, but you can't even build a toilet. To me, I'm shocked. Your brains and your priorities are just, it's so sad, man. But anyway, that's all I have for you tonight. TikTok, I'm sitting at 2.7 likes. And those that are on YouTube, let me tell you, YouTube is trying to be fun here. People on YouTube, before you go, okay, all of y'all, you must like the live push algorithm so that we bring people to conversations. We need to start talking. It's very important. What I'm just simply trying to do is to assassinate fear in our society. My goal is very clear. It's not like I'm not joking. I'm waiting for a time where we can have 5, 10, 15, 20 people speak the way that I do, freely, and commenting on politics genuinely and authentically. Because when we get to that point, we've won the game. We've won the game. We can't have a society that is afraid to call out a person who left their mother's house and say, I want to be your leader. And then tomorrow they turn around, they say, you must be afraid of me. No. Then go back to your mother's house. It's as simple as that. Go back. We did not come. You came here and said, I want to be a member of parliament. We did not come to your house. You came here and said, I want to be a minister. You didn't see no house begging you. There's so many people who can say, go back home if it doesn't work for you. We need to start speaking truth and confront people with truth. Which include President Mnangagwa. We did not go and look for him. He was hiding in South Africa. He came back there to play their games with the army, and he found himself there. No, he once asked, we must be afraid of him. No, I can call out Ramaphosa here any day, any minute, any time. So I can do the same thing with Mnangagwa too. I can call out Mnangagwa the same way I do with Ramaphosa. There's nothing that we must not be afraid of Mnangagwa. Why should we be afraid of him? We did not go to his house and call him to come and lead. He came himself and his wife. And he is on record saying the voice of the people is the voice of God. Let's hold him by his word. And say, no, sir, but you said so. Don't you? Right? In 2017, you said so. The voice of the people is the voice of God. No, we, the people, the voice of God, we're speaking. So you can't silence us. So I'm waiting for a day where 20 people, 25 people, many young and old, young people engage in conversations without fear or favor. So the goal is to assassinate fear, to make sure it does not exist in our society. We can't live in fear any longer. No, Zimbabwe is our home. No one, absolutely no one have titled this to Zimbabwe. Nobody. We, the Zimbabwean people, we own Zimbabwe. And everything that goes there is for the Zimbabwean people. So I'm asking you, brothers and sisters, to stand firm and resolute on the truth. We must demand that we question every leader. I'm coming from Tulingwe and Guamatanga. So I was going to tell that no, people need to ask when you all the problems. You're joking. We're coming after you. Like, we really do. We're not joking here. We mean business. Listen, Sometimes you have to figure out face and bada. You understand? So I love TikTok. Yeah, I'm just loving TikTok. You understand? Enough of being intimidated by politicians. We can't. No one is above criticism in Zimbabwe. Nobody, from the head to the toe, starting from Mnangagwa all the way to the ground. No one is above criticism. Because no, at Nakwenda kunotora kuzimbaza, we never begged anybody. They came on their own. So, you're more than welcome to pick your bags and say, you know, yeah, I can't stand you people. Confront me the way that you do. I want to go home. Do you know life is so simple? When we confront people with truth as it is, right? We did not come to your house and call you here. You came here yourself. So when we're questioning you and said what you're doing is wrong, don't say we are crazy. We are in our senses. Zimbabweans, all of them across the world, can't be crazy. Our people cannot keep on leaving Zimbabwe. I had a conversation with someone today, very important conversation. And she said to me, I don't want to be here. She's in Poland. I want to be home. I'm tired of being here. Zimbabweans want to be home. Why would our people leave their country because of the few individuals who have their own personal agenda? You heard Machakaire speaking here. If he can stand boldly and say, we can unleash the boys, what stops him from standing boldly and tell him, who the hell are you to unleash the boys for people? Who are you? Who are you? Who's your mother? Who's your father? Who brought you here? Do you understand? It's us confronting people with truth. It takes wisdom. Wisdom is profitable to direct. You deal with things as they are. There's no need of musatamba. It's a game. So you better be confronting people as they are. No, you don't do that. Out of all the men in Zimbabwe, and as might and great they are, one man can stand to confront and humiliate all the men in Zimbabwe. Yeah, no, it can't be. It can't be. No, no, it cannot be. We have a man who's going to stand firm and say, we are here to protect the city. We protect our women, we protect our children. We cannot allow one man to turn the entire space upside down. One man with his friends. You know, lying to the people that, oh, you guys are selling the country, but they're the ones that are selling, because they're the ones that are working with the imperialists to loot all our minerals. And they start gaslighting, and you're sitting and say, that's okay. No, 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 no. We'll take whatever it takes for us to stand up, fame, and speak truth in power. If it means us speaking on top of the mountain, we will. Thank God we have got social media. We have social media. This is the tool that God has given us. Look what happened in Kenya. It took social media for the people to get to the streets. They were too relaxed, all these Zimbabweans. They thought they were in control. They didn't know that they were planning a big thing. And it explode. That's what you and I should do. Standing firm and make sure we communicate better. Any person who feels like people are speaking something they don't want to hear, pack your bags and go back home. And wait and see if we can follow you. We won't follow you. We will never follow you. And any politician who comes in and said, I want to save the people of Zimbabwe, cannot turn around and start telling us that we should not question when they're looting money. I can't question Mutulingwe and Gwamatanga for signing off monies coming off the state coffers without explanation. Does that make sense to you? $7 million, $10 million, $87 million. You're signing off $87 million to go to a person who do not even deliver nothing at all. And we know the rule of business. You give people a deposit, they deliver, they get the balance. No, but in a Zimbabwean context, they get the under $87 million. Not only do they get one deal, they keep on getting. What is that supposed to tell you? They are working together with those that are actually in the ministry to loot our resources. In fact, the diaspora, we are contributing more money in the country. It's on record, and Mtuli is acknowledging the same thing. The diaspora, this is why the diaspora should stand firm and question where the money is going. Because we are contributing in the country more than those that are actually local, because there's no money. All right? So we should question where our money is going. But we can't sit here and smile and say, no, you can miss some. Just check. Go and look at Gwamatanga. Look at Gwamatanga. And I'm sorry to say this, when he came there, it wasn't like that. Big time all the way, wearing $1 million watch. How much is his salary? Right. I love you. May God bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe. TikTok, I love you so much. I love you. You know what I'm saying? Stay there. We're meeting again tomorrow. I love you guys. Sleep tight. And you tomorrow. Please share the lives with everyone else. Involve people. Call each other out. Let you guys have conversation. I don't want you to get so fear. Don't have fear at all. Relax. They're not as powerful as you think. You'll be shocked. Magwaraya, these are cowards. That's why they use tags, because they have nothing to offer. They're cowards. And you must never shiver. They don't have nothing to offer. I love you and bless you. Bye.